I couldn't be more thrilled to highlight another massive federal investment, this time in my hometown, made possible by President Biden's Invest in America agenda. And to do so alongside our two senators, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Ed Markey, who were instrumental in passing the bipartisan infrastructure law that made this funding possible. I'm also grateful to our state and local partners who are joining us as well. State Senator Ed Kennedy.
Right here.
There he is. State Rep Vanna Howard. State Rep Rodney Elliott. And our State Rep Roddy Mum.
Yes.
Certainly our city councilors, Vesna Noon, Paul Radayem, John Leahy, Councilor Leahy, and Wayne Jeunesse. Of course, I'm joined here by our mayor, who I'll get to in a minute. I often say that we can pass all the legislation that we want down in Washington, but at the end of the day, if we don't have state and local partners who are willing to put in the hard work to access these critical investments, then it's all for naught. And no one exemplifies that more than City Manager Tom Golden. His talented team, Mayor Chow, and the city councilors who jumped in when we flagged this opportunity to make the strongest possible case for the city of Lowell. Look, I know infrastructure isn't always the most exciting thing to highlight, but it's about a lot more than just fixing some bridges and filling some potholes. It's about safety, the safety of our community. It's about making sure that parents can get their children to school and themselves to work without having to think twice about the structural integrity of the bridges that they're passing over, or the safety of the intersection at the end of their street. In the past, projects like the Market Street Bridge and the other 3 canal bridges that we're celebrating today have been kicked down the road thanks in large part to Washington's own divestment from local infrastructure projects. Past administrations, Republican and Democrats alike, have talked about reversing that trend, but ultimately failed to significantly reinvest in our infrastructure. But that all changed with President Biden. In a time of extreme polarization, when the senators and I find ourselves disagreeing with our Republican colleagues on many, many issues, a majority of us were still able to come together to agree that we finally need to invest in our community's infrastructure. The bipartisan infrastructure law is helping to finally transform cities like Lowell that have long been left to fend for themselves. Through the infrastructure law's funding formula alone, we're going to see $140 million to finally replace the Rourke Bridge. $7 million for repairs along the VFW highway.
Yes.
And $3 million for upgrades to Rogers Street that will benefit folks coming on and off the highway. And that's just a small representation of what's to come. Each of those investments are part of the $9.5 billion that Massachusetts is guaranteed under this once-in-a-generation infrastructure package. But there are hundreds of other programs in the law that are available to communities through a competitive grant application process. And so much of my focus as a member of the Regional Leadership Council in coordination with our remarkable senators is growing that investment from $9.5 billion to $12 billion to $15 billion to $20 billion. And we do that by making the case for why Massachusetts, specifically communities like the Mill City, are the right place for the federal government to spend that money. And that's exactly what we're able to do with City Manager Golden, Mayor Chow, to secure this funding through the competitive RAISE grant program. The city put together an application that was extremely competitive and in a very competitive grant program. There were only 162 awards nationwide, and Lowell not only brought home the largest award in Massachusetts, but one of the 50 largest in our country. Now that's a testament to the city manager and the team here in Lowell for their proactive efforts to secure the federal investment that these bridges need. Once finished, these bridges will open at full capacity and they'll be safer for drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians. Together, these 4 projects will mean safer, less congested communities for many residents of the Acre, the Highlands, and the Back Central neighborhoods, as well as for folks from surrounding communities to commute into our city. Outcomes like this, where people's lives are made better, even if just 10 or 15 minutes spent less in the car, is exactly why my vote for the bipartisan infrastructure law was one of the easiest I've taken since I got to Congress just 4 years ago. And as you can see, the impact here in Lowell and in communities across the 3rd District that cannot be overstated. In the past 2 years, we've been able to bring big checks like this one to Marlboro, to Lancaster, Lawrence, and Fitchburg to celebrate the wins of each of these communities, and it's just the start. So I look forward to seeing these critical projects completed in the months and the years ahead, and of course to working with everyone here this morning to make sure that we keep delivering the resources necessary to make Lowell an even better place to raise a family, to work, and to call home. Now, that's enough from me. We are so fortunate to have our 2 real champions for Lowell and the Commonwealth in Senators Warren and Markey here with us this morning. It's no coincidence that when President Biden came to Massachusetts last year, he described our delegation, and I'm using his words here, the most powerful and most talented delegation in the country. Even though I'm part of that delegation, I say that as sort of the rookie on the team, so I know he's talking about our senators. It's really because of the efforts of our 2 senators in working hand in glove with the entire House delegation to make sure Massachusetts is always at the forefront of policy decisions. Of course, this isn't the first time Senators Warren and Markey have delivered a significant investment for Lowell bridges. Some of you may remember when they, along with Congresswoman Nikki Tsongas, brought home a $19.2 million DOT Tiger grant in 2015 for 5 canal bridges. In fact, I'm sure many of you have noticed that the Central Street Bridge has recently finished construction. That represents the last of the 5 bridges funded through that grant, so it's perfect timing for this new federal investment to roll into the city. And it's even more fitting to have our senators here today to celebrate that with us. Senator Warren hardly needs an introduction, but there's really no one with more energy or expertise willing to go to the mat to fight for the values of our state. We're fortunate to have her fighting the good fight in the Senate, and I'm grateful to call her a colleague and a friend. It's my pleasure to welcome our Senator, Senator Warren.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Lori. I'm here today to celebrate. Thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law, Massachusetts is receiving $21.4 million solely targeted at fixing bridges right here in Lowell. That's our money. So Lori and Ed and I fought hard for this. Along with the Inflation Reduction Act, we have secured the boldest investment in infrastructure and climate in our lifetimes. These bills are an historic investment in our future. They will bring billions of dollars of infrastructure funding to Massachusetts, and they will cut emissions by 40% in less than 8 years. And while they're doing that, they will create good union jobs. That is something to applaud. I have to add just one more part. We managed to pay for the Inflation Reduction Act and all the work we're going to do on climate with our 15% minimum corporate tax. Big corporations can pay for this. That investment makes a real difference for communities like this one. Canals, the river, are part of what make Lowell, Lowell. Families dropping their kids off at school, people going to work, communities here in Lowell and across Massachusetts. need to know that the bridges and roads they rely on are safe and secure. I am here today to celebrate this money, but I am here today also to celebrate partnership, because that's how we get to a day like this. I am particularly grateful to Town Manager Tommy Knees Golden and Mayor Chow, it'll live with you forever, baby, for making the case that the Mill City gets the kind of investment it needs. And that work starts with City Council, with our state representatives, with our state Senate. Without this partnership, the kind of application that went in from Lowell would not have been possible. And that means we would not be here today to celebrate. So I am delighted that we have worked together and that the money is coming from the federal government. But here comes the better news. There's more money coming after this. Last year, Lowell received a whopping $170 million in much needed funding to replace the Rourke Bridge, and billions more have already been put to work across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We're doing everything from electric school bus fleets to modernizing Logan Airport to investing in broadband in every neighborhood in Massachusetts. Projects like these will help us grow our economy in Massachusetts while investing in the green infrastructure that we need to build a sustainable future. These investments in our infrastructure are hard won, and they come from a shared vision of an America where opportunity and access is not reserved just for those at the top, but opportunity is here for everyone. I am so delighted to be here in Lowell today to celebrate another step toward that great day. Thank you.
I am serving as Master of Ceremonies today, so I want to thank Senator Warren, not just for her words, but also for her hard work. She was just here just a couple of months ago talking about the CHIPS and Science Act at UMass Lowell, and she has been central to helping us put a thoughtful application to get the Defense Microelectronic Commons Grant. Now, Senator Markey and I, we have worked closely on a whole host of things, but including something we all hold near and dear to our heart, which is that Merrimack River that flows underneath the Rourke Bridge. When I was fighting to secure funding in the bipartisan infrastructure audit to address combined sewerage overflows, which plague our city, Ed was the partner I needed in the Senate, and I'm incredibly proud of the work that Senator Markey and I have accomplished together since I first took office. So glad to have him here today to celebrate this important investment in the Mill City. Senator Markey.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Lori. And thank you to you, Lori. You know, she's no rookie. I just want to say that. If you could win it every year, she's been the Rookie of the Year, and this is her 5th year winning the Rookie of the Year award. So it's time to basically say that she's the MVP of Lowell, of Merrimack Valley, and bringing back all of these resources. And of course, Senator Warren and I, we had to wait through all 4 years of Donald Trump saying that he was going to have the biggest infrastructure bill of all time. Better roads, better bridges, better airports, and that whole 4 years passed. But as Tip O'Neill always said, all politics is local, and that's why we're here today, because we were able to get this bipartisan infrastructure bill passed to guarantee that the bridges of Lowell would become bright, shiny new bridges for the 21st century. Down in Washington, you can see it every day. Right now, unfortunately, all politics is loco. It's Donald Trump leading every single night. But we were able, notwithstanding him, to be able to put together this bipartisan bill. As Lori said, back in 2015 and 2016, Senator Warren and I were able, partnering with Congresswoman Tsongas, to secure $13 million for the first 8 bridges to be reconstructed. Then, in 2017, the Trump era began, and in 2021, we were able to pass, with President Biden signing that bill, the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And with that, $21.4 million is coming to Lowell today for 4 additional bridges, on top of the $135 million we were able to secure for the replacement of the Rourke Bridge. So in total, $170 million coming from our delegation, from Lori and Senator Warren and our whole delegation, fighting hard for the funding so that here at the local level, this community can thrive as it did in the 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries. That's our goal. Now, the Merrimack River plays a big role in my personal life. I would not be here if it wasn't for the Merrimack River. I'd be still on a farm in Ireland somewhere. And because it's the Merrimack River that brought the Markey family to Lawrence. As Lawrence, like Lowell, dammed that river and built the bridges in order to have the infrastructure that would draw families to this region. So we know how much it is going to be absolutely imperative that we do the same thing for the 21st century. It's all about community. It's all about families. It's all about, again, having a welcoming mat for the new generation of immigrant families. We know that immigrants will make America great again. That we know here in Lowell, because it is a city of immigrants. And we have to just keep our eye on that reality every single day. And each and every one of these bridges is going to carry precious cargo, human and product, over them every single day. And it's going to open up enormous opportunities for educational, economic, cultural, and economic growth in the city in the 21st century. I want to thank your great leaders, Tom Golden and Mayor Chow, for everything that they do, and Senator Kennedy and Representative Vanna, Howard and Rodney Elliott and Roddy Mom, and this great city council that you have that partners every single day to do everything that they can in order to ensure that there is, in fact, a brighter future for every single family. There was tremendous population growth in Lowell from 2010 to 2020. And this is just, in a way, these bridges will be, it'll be the welcome mat. It'll be saying, come to Lowell. This is the future. We want you. We want your economic, we want your personal talent, your investment in the community. And all I can tell you, it's something that makes Senator Warren and Congresswoman Trahan just so proud every single day. Senator Warren battles, as you know, on the Senate floor, persistently, insistently, consistently for the community. The same thing is true for your great Congresswoman, Lori Trahan. Congratulations, Lowell, the dawn of a brand new era. Congratulations.
Thank you for AM radio and cars.
Thank you.
I dream a day when we can be all riding in all electric vehicles with AM radio on over the new bridges here in Lowell to every one of the destinations that are now going to be more accessible.
We'll get it all.
Well, thank you, Senator Markey, for your work, not only on the reason we're here today, but on a whole host of issues, as Sam Polton just blurted out. Now, we all know that federal investments like the one we're talking about today, they don't happen without local leaders at the helm who understand the importance of these types of investments on the daily lives of our residents. And the city of Lowell is so lucky to have a mayor and a city manager, both so engaged at every level, relentlessly looking for ways to bring home more resources at the state and federal level. I'm fortunate to be able to call them friends. I certainly talk to them more than I do my friends, my other friends, but it's for a great reason. They know the opportunity, they understand the unprecedented investment that was just passed, and they want to make sure every day, waking up thinking about how can we poise Lowell to get as much of that funding here, and they're dogged. And I couldn't ask for better partners. So I'd like to invite Mayor Chow and then City Manager Golden to share a few words about these projects. Mayor.
Good morning, Congresswoman Trahan. You are definitely part of the powerful trio representing us at Washington. We're so lucky, and I've said over the years, every time that we get to meet Congresswoman Trahan, she always bear gifts to the city of Lowell, bringing numerous checks to different organizations, different projects. So we thank you for all your hard work. And we are very excited to have two great senators representing us. They're also our friends, our supporters, and our strongest advocates at Washington's. I don't know what we have done to deserve it. And I believe the past leaders, the current leaders, my colleagues, city councilors, and also joining me also, I just saw my colleague on the school committee, Dominic Lay, right here. And of course, we have many different important partners like Julie from the National Parks, and we have local media from WCAP, the colonel just mentioned earlier, and Inside Lowell. I saw Teddy panels here earlier as well. We just have great partnership, and we're just thankful for all the great leadership and the great friendship at Washington, D.C. that continue to provide what we need to make our city move forward. And Senator Markey mentioned earlier about how important that the bridges are to not just entire infrastructure, but also to the immigrant community in Lowell as well. Senator Warren mentioned how that is providing public safety. I came to Lowell in 1985 as an immigrant, and a few of the bridges on the list that benefiting from this race grants, bridges right in the acre. And we walked over them, we drove over them with our elderlies, with our young ones. And over the years, they received some small fixes, patches here and there, but these grants will definitely make the bridge safer for all of us. Will provide a quality of life for all of us. It's really going to put Lowell on a map, as you can see by the size of the grants. There are 50 states in the United States, right? So we received one of the largest grants in the United States, in the country. That's just to show how hard and how effective our leaders are. And we're so happy to have you represent all of us at Washington, D.C., Senator and Congresswoman. I know that you have said all the things that need to be said. All these things without, we benefit a lot from our current city manager as well, who has legislative experience and management experience that really work with the local elected officials, the residents at the state level, at the federal level. I will have him mention a few words because you know more than me, and what make government works every day, every month, and every year to continue the great work that we've been doing. Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you all for being here today. It is such a pleasure. In the baseball terminology, our Boston Red Sox are going to be fine. Everyone relax. But you always have a triple threat, right? The top three that are leading off that are always very, very dangerous to pitch to. And that's who you're talking to right here. The three folks here that consistently get up to bat and get a hit. And in some aspects, a home run. So I am here to say thank you very much to this delegation. It is not surprising to me at all that we were chosen. We were chosen because we have three incredible leaders that consistently give back. And it's easy for me to do this job because I can pick up the phone and talk to Senator Markey at any point in time. And it happens. It's very, very easy. Senator Warren, once again, just as easy. and Lori, well, we usually just have coffee together often and talking amongst ourselves to see how we can make this city better and better every day. But as everybody knows, the triple threat needs a cleanup hitter. And Senator Warren, we're gonna take that challenge with that additional monies coming, with all the additional monies. Our planning department, led by the Assistant City Manager, Giovanni Rose Baez, is here, along with Camilo and the whole crew. They are here, they make it happen at the council's request. They consistently are working very, very hard. But in this particular matter, our engineer, Liz Altman, who I know is hiding way in the back, she is the person, when I went to Giovanni and Camilo in the beginning, I'm sorry, I broke that bit of confidence for a moment. I was so excited I couldn't tell anybody. But when I spoke to them at the meeting that was minutes afterwards, I said, you're not gonna believe what just happened. You know, we got all this money coming in, 21.4, you guys did it. And they said, when can we tell Liz? Right? Because that's what teamwork is. That is what teamwork is. They're not putting anybody in front of anyone else, with this exception. Liz Altman did a fabulous job, and I'm sure made your job that much easier. But the triple threat is always a concern, because whether it be Senator Markey consistently fighting for our environment, Senator Warren is just consistently fighting to make sure, no, not consistently fighting, but consistently fighting for people and making sure that we're all getting a fair shake. And to our Congresswoman, who always, always remembers her hometown and how hard she works to make sure that we are all going to be this successful. This is a movement that I don't think we've seen in quite some time. And I think Senator Markey said it best. There was a pause, there was a stall. Well, it's back. And I am so happy and so proud to call all of you my friends, because you consistently deliver for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And thank you very much for always showing up here in Lowell. To have two United States senators and our Congresswoman here at the same time, that's a trick. That is a trick. In August. That is a real trick. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, Congresswoman.
Yeah, I'll close it out.
There we go.
Thank you so much. So thanks again to everybody who made this a priority. Look, as the city manager said, this only happens with teamwork. Lowell has a fantastic team. And we know that when we have a fantastic team and we're all rowing in the same direction, incredible things happen for our city. So this is just the beginning. I'm looking forward to working with my two powerful senators, the city manager, the city council, our state delegation that's working so hard at the State House to make sure those funds are earmarked and come in this way. And certainly to the people who often aren't up at the podium, our assistant city manager, our department, our engineers, who make sure that our best foot is forward always, so that we can, you make our job so much easier. So with that, we're going to do our favorite part of the event. We're going to grab that big old check and we're going to take a quick
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Feds on one side.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here, why don't we hear?
Here we go.
You got to hand it to.
Who's taking this picture? Where are we looking here?